The mainstream media is at it once again, lying about the actual facts, with the facts being Israel did not violate the ceasefire agreement. It was Hamas, a known terrorist organization that flew RPG rockets and killed 2 Israeli soldiers. Israel retaliated as a result. Because what do you expect them to do? Lay down their weapons and do absolutely nothing. Israel responded to a terrorist organization attacking them. And yet the mainstream media loves to play cover for a known terrorist organization. It is kind of crazy. They love to blame Israel. Actually, Israel is our ally. But yet the mainstream media loves to defend the actual terrorist organization. It amazes me. Look, Israel launches Gaza airstrikes and halts aid, blaming Hamas for ceasefire violations. You know, it takes an extremely low IQ person or someone with a very hateful agenda to mess up the actual truth of the situation. Israel did not violate the ceasefire agreement. It was Hamas, because Hamas has had every opportunity to give back the bodies of the remaining hostages. They've not done that yet. There's about 19 of them left to be given back. They have not done that yet. So who is the one that is really violating the ceasefire agreement? It's not Israel. Aid is getting in. Hamas is refusing to lay down their arms and give up. And Trump has already said that if Hamas doesn't actually give up their arms, then guess what's going to happen? America's going to disarm them. And you don't want America to disarm Hamas. Let me just be very, very clear. But you know what's amazing to me? The mainstream media have got a massive agenda. It amazes me how the mainstream media, right, they have the responsibility to tell the truth, but yet they keep refusing to tell the truth. It's like, what's the whole point? I know it's to bash Israel into the ground, to make Israel out to be like they're the worst thing in the actual world, to get lots of people angry. There's an agenda behind it. The mainstream media skews incredibly left. And it's amazing how you've got people on the left that are siding with terrorism because they are incredibly violent. The mainstream media is condoning it by painting Israel out to be like they're the aggressor. It's crazy to me. Pastor Greg Loki goes, people are so gullible. Israel has not violated a ceasefire. They have only responded to Hamas violating a ceasefire. Hamas is doing what it does, killing their own civilians and attacking Israel. Their so-called reports are coming from Hamas-friendly propaganda outlets. Of course they are, because Hamas is great at propaganda. If Hamas says something that is untrue, the mainstream media goes, yes, I can use this against Israel. Let's go. It'd be like Russia saying something about Ukraine, and the mainstream media plasts what Russia says instead of what Ukraine says. It's like the he said, she said game. Except what Russia says is more important, evidently speaking, than what Ukraine has to say. So who's right and who's wrong? Instead, today we're seeing it play out in real time. You have Hamas says something, the mainstream media jumps at it, and they automatically blame Israel. And Israel is at fault for everything, even if the facts have remained true that Hamas is the aggressor. And all Israel is doing is retaliating back. Vivid goes, are you effing stupid? Hamas violated the ceasefire by shooting an RPG on an IDF vehicle and killing 2 soldiers and injuring 3. F you. So let's forget about the 2 dead Israeli soldiers and the 3 that have been wounded. Let's forget about them, apparently, according to the mainstream media. Israel has a right to respond, does it not? It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me how you have lots of people in the media, and not just on the media, but lots of people online that couldn't care less about the truth. They hate Israel so much. They hate Israel so much that they're more than happy to lie and to bend and twist everything to suit their own ideological agenda. That's wrong to me. It's sick. I have a watch of Fox News actually saying that Hamas violated the ceasefire.
Military official telling Fox News that Hamas violated the ceasefire agreement, launching an RPG and a sniper attack against Israeli forces inside Gaza. In response, the Israeli military bombed targets in the southern and northern parts of the enclave. This military official telling Fox this is a bold violation of the ceasefire. Remember, the Israelis are still in control of 53% of Gaza. They have remained on high alert over concerns that Hamas might violate the agreement. And they built out a series of preparations for this very possibility. Already today, there are calls from Israeli ministers on the far right, including Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich, to resume the war against Hamas. But we do understand Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to hold security consultations today about this Hamas ceasefire violation to determine the next steps. All of this taking place as U.S. officials are set to visit the region this week, including Vice President J.D. Vance and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. And last night, the State Department released a warning of their own against Hamas. They said the United States has informed the guarantor nations of the Gaza peace agreement of credible reports indicating an imminent ceasefire violation by Hamas against the people of Gaza. So we're looking at two different things here. One, a violation of the ceasefire against Israeli forces, and two, a warning by the U.S. State Department that Hamas intends to carry out more attacks against their own people. Remember last week, we saw those horrific execution videos of Hamas gunmen roaming the streets of Gaza and killing their opponents. And they still have not fulfilled all of their agreements as it relates to ceasefire deal plans. And we're talking about phase one here. They were supposed to release the bodies of all of the hostages that remain inside Gaza. And while overnight they returned the remains of 2 additional hostages, including hostage Ronen Engel, there are still 16 hostages that are deceased inside the Gaza Strip that Hamas must return as part of their agreed upon deal. And so moving forward, we have to wait and see what happens as it relates to this ceasefire violation. But again, the latest information that we have, according to the Israeli military, Hamas has violated the ceasefire agreement by firing on Israeli forces inside Gaza. And in response, the Israeli military launched new airstrikes against the enclave.
Hamas wasn't just killing their opponents, I'll have you know. They were killing civilians. Those that didn't want or don't want Hamas in power anymore. Anyone that speaks openly against Hamas at the moment is killed. And it's usually the ones that you saw that are being starved and malnutritious. Usually those people. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, the Hamas propaganda war is on full steam. And it's all thanks to the useful dingbats of the mainstream media as well. They don't like telling the truth. And in fact, they completely glossed over and didn't even bother reporting on the fact that the Hamas military or the militants executed civilians, Palestinian civilians, out in the open. Just took them out. And the mainstream media was quiet about it. Oh, that was during the ceasefire, by the way. So they can't attack Israelis, but we're going to kill our own civilians. Who's the real oppressor? Who's the real occupier, guys? If you've got Hamas that is in power and they're killing their own civilians, not letting them escape, who is the real occupier? Everyone's going, oh, but it's Israel. Israel is occupying Gaza at the moment. They only control 53%, according to reports. Does that seem like an occupier to you? What happened to the other 57%? Who's that occupied by? Can't possibly be Israel, can it? Now, sure, Israel has done a great job in wiping out Hamas, and the unfortunate result has been, because of Hamas, innocent casualties, innocent lives, but they've used that as propaganda. They seem to think that Israel is the worst, except it's not. Now, I want to show you guys this. This is from the UN. UN Women. Blatantly, I'm closing with this, blatantly showing us and siding with Islam. When women lead, peace follows. A photo of women in the niqab. And if you don't know what the niqab is, it's the Taliban's morality laws, subjugating Afghani women, banning education beyond primary school, employment, and public movement without covering one's face entirely. UN Women. When active conflicts at the highest level since 1946, the role of women is peace building and is more important than ever. Alongside women on the ground, UN Women is uplifting women's leadership to realize a peaceful world for all women and girls. You've got to be kidding me. So meanwhile, the UN is an absolute joke, man. Massive, massive joke. They want to prop up the pro-terrorist regime and Islam and then subdue something that is all about peace. They want to subdue Judaism. They want to subdue the Israel people and prop up and celebrate and glorify subjugating women. You can't make any of that stuff up, man. It's right there. Anyway, that is enough from me, but you guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.